Good morning, distinguished guests, partners, educators, entrepreneurs, investors, parents, and our incredible young leaders. On behalf of Language Afrique, it's my pleasure to welcome you to the Young CEO Masterclass 2026, where we are gathered to explore one powerful mission: brand, build, invest, create wealth. Today's today's more than a conference. It's an opportunity to learn from experts, discover innovative ideas, connect with future collaborators, and live inspired to build wealth that lasts for generations.
Thank you, Edmunda. Throughout today's program, you will hear from exceptional speakers covering personal branding, entrepreneurship, financial intelligence, sustainable investing, and wealth creation. We'll also witness our exciting Picture Idea Challenge, where five outstanding innovators compete before our panel of judges. So get your notebooks ready and ask questions. Network intentionally, and mostly importantly, enjoy every session. Financial success begins with financial intelligence. Our next speaker is a certified insurance broker and financial expert dedicated to helping individuals and families building generational wealth through financial literacy, strategic planning, and wealth protection. Please welcome me. Please welcome Mr. Joshua Alabi.
Thank you very much. And good afternoon, everybody. I am Joshua Alabi. I live and work in Bremen, here in Germany. I came to Germany some years ago for my master's program. And after my studies, I've been working in different capacities. Currently, I work as a key user, more like a data analyst and also freelancer, and with a leading insurance company in Germany. And now fully more in the aspect of financial integration and of course inclusion, especially with people from our demographic group. And yeah, it's an honor to be here. It's a great privilege to be here to talk about financial intelligence and wealth creation. So I would like to share my screen. If, um, yeah, and then I can. Okay. Okay. 1 minute, please. Yeah. I see. Right. So talking about financial intelligence and wealth mindset. Reality is that I have seen a lot of rich people go poor, and I've seen people from humble beginning make it to the pyramid of wealth. The difference between the two of them is not often about how much they have started with, but it is about sustainability. It's about vision. It's about what they can create. I want to show us something very quickly. When we talk about wealth, many people usually think that wealth is equal to investment, whereas in reality, that's not the same. What actually happens is that investment only helps to multiply your wealth. So, take for example, we have the pyramid of wealth like this. Imagine a full stand concept like this, and then here at the peak is wealth. And this is what we all desire. Let me be frank with us. Many people are so rich or are so poor, all they have is money. I rephrase, many people are so poor today that the only thing they have is money. Money is not just equivalent to wealth. They are two different things. So when we talk about wealth, look at it from this angle. Wealth could be financial freedom. Not having to look at the price of a commodity at the supermarket before you buy it. That stage in life where what is expensive today becomes affordable. Now that's what wealth is. But for you to get to this wealth, everybody desire financial freedom. Everybody desire a life whereby things are affordable. You don't have to think about the prices and everything. You can get what you want without having to save for eternity and stuff like that. So what people do is that they look at the next layer, and the next layer here is investment. One thing we should understand about investment is that it multiplies your wealth. If I invest 1,000 euros, I'm only going to get a profit of my 1,000 euros. Imagine somebody investing 1 million euros and I am investing 1,000 euros. If we both get 10%, it doesn't make me as wealthy as he is because I only get 10% of my 1,000 euros while he will get 10% of his 1 million euros. And that's where the difference between the two starts. So, how do you get more money to invest? Which brings about the next question. I wasn't born rich, I was born without a silver spoon. So, how am I going to get the money to invest? The next layer we look at is the income. Now, when we talk about the income, it could come from different sources. It could be from your salary, it could be from your freelance business, it could be from your career, different places like that. And immediately we start talking about income, it changes the status quo. People look like, oh, I am not earning much, he is earning much more than me. The reality is that somebody who is earning 10 times more than you is not because they work 10 times harder. Rather, it is tied in value. Income lies with value. And value creation comes in forms of sales, it could be in form of communication, it could be in form of skills and the rest. And that brings us back down to the bottom. So the mistake most people make is that they are creating their wealth backward. Rather, we are supposed to move progressively forward, which brings us to skills and mindsets. Now, skills and mindsets are very huge triggers that helps us a lot when we want to talk about wealth and financial intelligence. So when you want to, there's no way we talk about a wealth mindset without talking about skills and value. Value is so important. How much of skills do we have? How much soft skills do we have? Not only information. If information was enough to make people rich, Liberians would be the richest people today. But rather, it's the opposite. Information is indeed powerful, nevertheless, it isn't sufficient. Personal development is important. The mindset is important. We've heard stories of rich people, wealthy people who left a fortune for their kids, and today all investment are no more. I mean, we know of a popular politician of a blessed memory in Nigeria who had a lot of investment back in his days. He had a big farm, he had a newspaper, he had different companies, and today none of them are existing. That is the gap between wealth and money. Money can only take you a little further, but wealth brings with it sustainability. And that is where the skills and the mindset comes into play. A lot of people set up a business today and the business is thriving. But the mistake we all make is that a business cannot thrive without us. And that is why it is important. When you talk about wealth, you also need to build a system. If you go to work, you get paid. If you don't go to work, you don't get paid. But look at it from the bigger picture. Your employer, the owner of the companies, the CEOs, they don't have to turn up every day, yet they get paid. And that's because the owner of the company has created a system that functions even while he isn't present. And that is where the mindset of wealth kicks in. These are the pros. I mean, look at it around you. 57% of people cannot even cover a 1,000 euro emergency today. It is not an income problem, it is a mindset problem. If you talk to somebody and say, how about you start an investment plan today that yields about 6% annual interest? The first thing you're going to hear from a lot of them is like, oh, 6%. If I put in 100 euros, are you telling me I just make a profit of 6 euros on 100 euros after 1 year? Ah, no, I'm not going to do that. This is an information they got 20 years ago. But does that mean they have been able to invest 100 euros every year? No. Reality is that there's what we call time value of money. And these are the mindsets we need to achieve wealth. Wealth is not built overnight. We also need to understand the time value of money because with the time value of money makes us realize that there's a place whereby longevity speaks volume. And also the gap between the rich and the poor is not just the salaries. A lot of high earners go broke and we see lower earners build huge wealth from the scratch. The difference is not just how much you earn, but what you know and what you do. And going through the programs and list of events today, I cannot be more than grateful to the organizers of this wonderful program because the various speakers have already lined multiple wonderful sessions that is going to complement everything done here today. And it is indeed a wonderful program because here you also get to know what to do, how to do, when to do it, understanding the time value. And of course, the debt gives you the framework to cross the gap. Budgeting is important, debt mindset, uh, managing your finances. One mistake many people make is they want to save what is left after spending. It's never going to happen. In reality, you are supposed to spend what is left after saving. Now, that is a wealth mindset. Some people go by the 50, 30, 20% rule. What exactly are your needs? Ability to separate your needs from wants gives you an edge. I want this, but can I live without it? I mean, I want to go on a wonderful holiday tomorrow. I want to have a wonderful bone straight hair. I want a nice sneakers. I want a wonderful Adidas sneakers. But do I need it? What exactly am I need? The ability to separate the need from the want gives you a huge chance and a huge advantage. And of course, the saving. One thing I ask people today is this: when you get your money, do you pay yourself? A lot of people work very hard today, they earn a huge income, but the reality is that you don't pay yourself. The moment your salary comes in, you start paying folks abroad, you start paying bills, you start clearing debt. At the end of the day, you are left with nothing. The credit card bill you clear today, you go back tomorrow to the same credit card and get more at even higher interest rates. And the truth is, a lot of people carry thousands of euros in debt from monthly rate payment, installment payment, together with credit card loans and everything. These debts, if not properly managed, are going to kill the entire plan of wealth. And this is one thing we also need to understand very well. There are two ways. You can either use the avalanche method, whereby you attack the highest interest debt first, and it saves you a lot of money automatically, or you pay off the smallest one so that you are able to create a balance between the two. But when it comes to wealth mindset, there is one thing I'll really talk about. Because of our time, I just want to talk to us quickly about something. And what I want to talk about is straightforward, it's more direct, and that is generally about the richest man in Babylon. This is one of my favorite books. Now, the richest man in Babylon was interviewed, he was asked to come and talk to people about how he got his wealth, how he was able to build a lot of wealth. I'm talking about ancient Babylon. Now, what happened? He was not born rich, but what happened was that he was working. And one day he decided enough is enough. I do not want to be poor. I don't want to get poor. He met a very rich man. The rich man came to him, gave him a scroll, and told him, I want you to write it, like print it, like craft it on a wood for me, so to say. And he said, if you are able to do this, finish it. It's a lot, but if you can finish it by tomorrow morning, I will tell you the secrets to wealth. And he looked at it like, "Ah, this is a lot to do. It's almost impossible, right? Nevertheless, he said, yeah, if you are able to craft it on the wood, then I'll tell the secret. And he said, no, it's too much. I can't do it. He said, then you are not ready to get rich. The man went ahead. He didn't finish it. The following day, the man met him and said, have you done it? He said, no. You are not ready to become wealthy. And that's the simple fact. And then he asked him again, okay, tell me. He said, next year I'll tell you. The following year he came around and then told him the same thing and asked him the same question. Do this for me overnight. If you're able to achieve it, I'll tell you the secret of wealth. This time around, the man said, okay, I will do it. But he asked him, if I had told you I will give you 1 million to finish it overnight, would you have done it? Yes, of
Yes,
course. But in reality, what he needed from him was priceless. It was of an inestimable value. So what happened? He said, okay, I will do it. He went ahead, he did it. And the man told him, the secret to wealth is financial intelligence. And what exactly is financial intelligence? Letting your money work for you. Majority of us work for our money today. But the question is our money working for us? That is one question we need to ask ourselves. So why do you start? He told him, keep 10% of your money every month. 10%. For the first few months, it's a little difficult. After a while, you get used to it. It becomes a part of you. And he did. He asked him, if you keep 10% of your salary every month or 10% of your income every month, after 1 year, how much would you have? You would have had more than 1 month's income. If you do that for 10 years, you would have the entire income for 1 year of your entire working period. He said yes. Now the man said to him, That is not a wealth mindset. You don't just keep the money to grow. Rather, you invest the money to work for you, to create more wealth for you. So what he did was that he had the money and then he started using the money to invest. His first line of investment was very poor. He went to meet a carpenter to help him order gold from a nearby city and jewelries. You want to invest in gold and jewelries? Who do you go? You go to the jeweler, not to the carpenter. And what happened? The carpenter went and got him fake jewelries because the carpenter also had no idea of what he was buying. At that point, many people would have given up, but he didn't. He started all over again from the beginning. He started investing again, saving the money. And this time around, he went to the right people in the right line of business he wanted to invest. And that is one mistake a lot of people make today. You have a friend who is working in the field of finance here in Germany. He comes to you to give you financial advice, but you say no. You rather go to your neighbor who has absolutely no knowledge of finance, but because has been here longer or because was born here, and then you go to him and say, "Oh, this person told me." The only reason you didn't believe your friend is because he's from the same demographic group with you. But in reality, that is his field, that is his domain. So the moment we stop doubting the potential we carry as fellow Africans or irrespective of our race because of our skin color, and start listening more, we realize that we're going to break a lot of boundaries and barriers in this country. And that is one mistake a lot of people make. They look at it, they approach it from the perspective like, I'm rather going to talk to my 65-year-old German neighbor or 40-year-old German neighbor and get his own advice on financial intelligence. Someone whose financial pathway was already created for him, probably by his parents or grandparents, and had nothing to worry about. But your friend who has studied, who is working in this department, gain more understanding, you despise his concept. And this is one mistake a lot of people make when it comes to financial intelligence. Understanding the right source, knowing where to get your counsel for is very important. Nobody is an island. A tree cannot make a forest. We all do not know everything about everything, which is why we need people, and which is why webinars like these, programs like this are really wonderful because they also help us to shape our mind and also give us more clarity about what the future would. Look at it, scarcity thinking. The question is, how many people, if I ask us today, how many of us would like to buy a Rolls Royce or a G-Wagon? Like to have our dream car. How many of us would like to have our dream car? Everybody wants to have the dream car. You want to have your dream house. But when you look at the price today, the question is, can I afford it or not? Right? And some people look at what they want and they say, oh, no, I can't afford it. That is the wrong mindset. The right mindset will be, how can I afford it? How can I afford it? Do not stay defeated. Do not stay at the bottom. Investing, for example, as I said, make your money work for you. That is the power of starting early. Time value of money. We have a lot of wonderful children here today, beautiful kids who are starting life. If their parents could start early for them, they don't have to break their back. They don't have to break their bank account. A lot of wonderful investment portfolios and platforms you can start with as low as 25 euros every month. Consistency over time. What is it going to do? This is going to help you a lot to create a lot of mindset, start early, and also you benefit from the time value of money. And that is one thing we also need to understand clearly when it comes to financial mindset. So, not only that, another thing also I would like to show with us very quickly is this. How do you build passive income? We also need a good source of passive income to be able to help us move and get a lot of things we need to. Passive income is really important in what we do. So the truth is, salary may not get you where you want to, but when the more passive income, the more streams of income we have, the more chances of financial intelligence, the more chances of creating wealth. Remember, investment multiplies your wealth. How much do you have to invest, which is your income, determines the power of wealth you can create. Passive income, lots of freelance opportunities, freelance career you can do in your free time. You can go into it. Now, how are you able to make yourself qualify for this? It comes from building your skills. It comes from building value, adding value. And this is also just one thing that helps us to create a lot of steps and, of course, wealth at the end. Build your emergency fund, eliminate high interest debt. Before you take a loan, look at the interest rate you are paying. It is very important. Many people have taken loans with interest rate of over 15, 20%. That is huge. Huge, because like, what do you want to use the money for exactly? Are you using it for a spending purpose or just for reinvesting purpose? Have private pension fund. It is also wonderful, especially for people who live here in Germany. The pension situation is not encouraging, especially for people who even have to migrate here. A private pension fund is really important. It gives you the advantage. It gives you the chance also to be able to um, prevent old age poverty. As we know, there's a very high rate of old age poverty here in Germany. Now, the seven pillars of wealth: consistent capital, excessive expenditure, and self control. Make your money work for you. Really important. Know your risk appetite, seek wisdom from the wise, increase your ability to earn, and that helps you build a massive income stream. Remember, the wealthy don't just earn money, they buy back their time. 9 to 5 is indeed no doubt a trap because you are investing a huge amount of your time in fulfilling another person's dream. By the time you are done, you don't even have enough time to pursue your own career anymore, which is why financial intelligence and wealth creation is key. If you check fourth list of the richest people in the world, you will never see an employee among the richest people in the world. All the people you see are employers. Imagine having a company and your accountant is the richest man in the world. Isn't something wrong somewhere? Exactly. Yeah, so this is majorly all I have to share with us today. Thank you very much, the admin and the organization organizers for this wonderful opportunity to share this with us today. Thank you very much.